know what? I have been thinking how gamers and, anime fans are used by everyone when it's interest to them and then just to be discarded later. This is something that I sometimes think, and I don't see people talking about it. And my thoughts on this is that, for an example, for me, it's just my opinion, okay? It's just my opinion. For me, gamers and anime fans and etc. played like a huge important role on Trump's election, for example. And they know that. And the reason why they know that is because even the Democrats try to cater to gamers and when they saw that the thing was going bad, they tried to cater even to us. But I find I always think like, even though we have like much, how I supposed to say this, we play a huge important part on what is happening nowadays in these fights for freedom of expression and to make things normal again. Not only for what I've seen, at least we've played the major role on this, because I don't see people outside of gamers and anime fans doing anything about it at all. It's just people that are usually interested in this stuff, more than interest, like they live for it, they liked it, they like this very much. I don't see people outside this bubble or like try to fight for this. I don't see, like, when they are not from the bubble, they are politicians. It's what I see. Or I don't know, some say quote unquote right wing journals, but outside of that, I don't see anything. So today's video is from Chibi Reviews, and the title is Japan Fights Back with Elon Musk Against Censorship of Anime and Manga. And of course, I'm not saying that this is the intention of Elon Musk of using gamers and etc. Because I just don't trust these people. Okay, I don't trust them. But whatever, right? I'm not saying that the thing that I was saying before is related. It's just that I saw this that you guys are looking on the screen, and it made me thought about all of this, and because it makes total sense. Because even the right wing doesn't care, doesn't care too much about us. Proof of this is what Texas is doing to anime fans. Like, it sees that they don't really care, They use us when it's convenient, when it's convenient, because gamers and anime fans, they have more values leaning toward the right wing than the left wing, but we are used by them. That's it. That's what I think. We are used when it's convenient, but when it's not, we are enemies of the conservative cause, because anime boobas and gamers like sexual games and etc. They are, I guess, of all of this stuff, blah 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 blah. I find this very much funny. I really funny and shameful at the same time. But yeah, let's start the video. You guys maybe you guys are tired of listening me talking without starting the video, because we came here to react, and I'm talking a lot even before starting this video. So yeah, did not expect to wake up to this. Elon Musk really is on our side for fighting for anime and manga. I would be so fast to say that, but yeah, Chibi. Yesterday in Japan, a famous lawyer made a statement that anime and manga should conform to global standards, sparking a debate. Thank you so much for the so many comments in response, such as overseas fans don't want that either, and that's the path to destroying culture, exactly. And then Elon Musk replies with the answer, shame on the lawyer who is paying him to push that. Yeah, of course, it's something that we really need to know because, I mean, who is pushing all of this, like, who is behind all of this? Where is the follow the money thing that people love to talk about, but no one is doing that? Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if, like, we could just do that or if people with some privileged access has to try to do that. And I don't understand why it takes some things, some people, some corpus, they take so much time to go follow their money to see who is behind of them, what is behind of their decisions, and etc. But yeah, let's continue.
Remain Japanese. This is a big battle going on right now in the anime industry, and it's gaining a lot of publicity. It's gaining so much publicity, in fact, that even Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter and the richest man on the planet, even made a comment on the situation, which I think really highlights that finally, for the first time in a very long time, this situation is reaching mainstream attention. It's reaching so much mainstream attention besides just Elon Musk talking about it. We even have Nico Nico in Japan now talking about this in mainstream news. And I think that this really showcases that there's been a lot of people, not just within...
It's incredible when what just one tweet of Elon Musk is capable of doing. People always make fun of him. People always like, always when I see posts of him, people under the replies are always making fun of him. But the guy moves everything. I will never forget when Elon Musk made the value of the Dogecoin like go so fucking high just because he tweeted some bullshit about about that coin. Like, the guy can make things gain or lose value just with that tweet, just with his tweet. Like, as much as I find this very much interesting and like fun, quote unquote fun, more or less like fun. At the same time, I think how this is wrong. But yeah, I mean, he just have this power because people give him this power, like, people believe in what he says, so it's not his fault. He can do whatever he wants with that. But thing is that if he keeps, like, using this to just personal gain, or, I mean, of course he was for personal gain, but if he used, what I want to say is, if he used this power of his indiscriminately, he will lose this power eventually, People will stop believing in what he say, what he tweets, and etc. He's just like that.
In the West, but also people, let's say, in Japan, that have been completely unaware of what's been going on within the anime and manga industry for a good while when they are brought over into different states or countries around the world that's outside of Japan. And I and many other content creators in the content creator space has talked about how a lot of anime has been forced to either buckle, bend, or change to basically censor itself to global standards. We have definitely seen this over the last few years. It's definitely ramped up and increased quite a bit. And what I talked about as of late with a bunch of different, let's say, animators or directors or founders of studios talking about the increased trends of, like, battle shonen or, how anime originals can...
Don't you guys feel like Chibi is like a VTuber avatar or something like of himself? Like, it's like he made a persona, like he's here, it's him IRL, but at the same time it feels like he's a persona, the the mustache, the hair, like it seems like he's a persona, a character. It's very fun.
Can no longer be created as often as they once were. There's obviously a vocal voice speaking out now. A lot of people are becoming aware of the issue at hand, and so I want to take a few moments to really talk about this, because it's very important, and finally I can actually share some pretty good news. Because this is like the the box, so to speak, like Pandora's box being open to where now people are aware of this. The common folk that might not even, like anime or watch anime or read manga are now becoming aware of what's really going on within Japan. And there's a lot of conversation around this, and I think one of the big things that has caused this to happen, besides obviously Elon Musk commenting on this post to a politician from Japan, which by the way, I've been in talks with quite a bit, and we've been discussing how we want anime to remain Japanese and not kind of mold itself to global standards. And I really appreciate this man. He's fighting for freedom of expression. He's fighting for the creative freedom of animators, creative freedom of, people that want to write manga. Just in general, this man is anti-censorship, and I appreciate it. And I am very thankful that I'm able to use my platform not just to help this man out, but also he is, relaying information to me. I'm relaying information to him. And a lot of people are kind of pitching in and talking with this man. And I really am thankful. And I think that this would not have been possible if it wasn't for all of you guys liking my video or leaving comments on my video to allow, the algorithm to pick up my content as of late, for these things can get out there, for people can become aware of what's actually going on. But let's get a little bit into this conversation. So first off, one of the big things I think that drove this conversation to reach a boiling point, and why now Japanese citizens are talking about it a lot now within Japan, and you have for instance mainstream media like Nico Nico talking about it, it's because of this. So this is becoming more and more common in Japan, and if you want a rundown of what's going on here, basically the same issue we have in the West on social media platforms or on the YouTube space, TikTok or whatever.
Which means again, we need to explain people why grass is green and not blue, and yeah, that very same thing. Oh my god, this is so, sometimes this is so terrible because we are in the end of 2025. Feels like, it does really feels like society is walking backwards. I mean, everyone knows that, but in times like this, I really feel it's deep inside of me, oh my god, it's like you could literally delete. I feel you could literally delete, at least, maybe even more, 1 decade of humanity, and nothing would be much of lost or won in that regards. It wouldn't make difference. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Whatever, where people can't separate fiction from reality, that is now happening within Japan at an alarming increase.
And the only thing that went forwards in this decade is the technology. We have a lot of things that we didn't have before, like the rise of AI, for example. But besides it, what we actually had, improvements, nothing, really. Everything gotten worse and worse. Yeah. That's it.
Increased rate as the years go on by, especially since the overwhelming popularity of anime in the last 5 or so years. Now, I don't know exactly where this all started. It might have been there for a long time, but it's definitely become a lot more common, especially how we have seen it in the West communities. In the West, we see people talking about, not able to separate fiction from reality, and, how, if you are someone that likes icky content, you enjoy that in real life. You know that type of argument, what people like to do, and how this is a main vessel or gateway to censor content. Well, basically, that type of vocal voice is in Japan now. And you see, for instance, the individual here that was talking with Elon Musk, he is calling this out, and that there is a lot of people now talking about it and not liking the direction that this is going. And so this is becoming more mainstream now. The general populace, not just within the West or even in anime and manga communities, you now have Japanese citizens seeing this. And I think that this is going to spark a big outrage, because obviously if there's one thing I think a lot of people can agree with, people don't like their culture being tampered with. They don't like their culture being stomped on and changed to fit a standard. They don't like that. That's common sense stuff. And so I feel like because of how Japan loves their culture, they want to protect their culture, they're not going to be a big fan of finding out that people want to change their culture instead of integrating and incorporating themselves into their culture.
As much as I wanted to agree with you, Chibi, this isn't true. as someone like who loves to study and see a lot of things on Japan, you can really notice that Japan it's losing its former culture within time more and more. One very example of this is how people are less and less likely to use yukata, and people are stopping using like kimonos and kimonos in general, like all types. Like it's just one of the many I could talk about, because I don't want this to get much bigger. But yeah, it's slowly. I mean, of course, they are in a very better like situation than the West in general, regarding to being able to maintain their culture, but they are slowly but steadily changing as well. That's sad, but that is true. That is really true, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time for them to become like the rest of the world. Also, they have the population crisis, so it's not like it's like they don't have that much of a choice. People don't want to have kids. They need they need to labor. They need workers to fulfill the labor roles. And they gotta do something. We are talking about all this stuff now, like. And then they one way or another, they're gonna need immigrants, and immigrants will eventually change their culture. That's it, because it's not the majority. For what I read can tell, it's not the majority that has the same like thinking that I have, that you have to go to a place and adapt to their culture. Like most seems to not understand it. They go to a place and change that place with their culture. And this fucking sucks, but this is what happens. And this is a problem. Japan will not. Or Japan will close the door and disappear because will not reproduce, like. Or will accept immigrants, and in some way, some form will be destroyed and disappear, because we'll have mixed culture and blah blah blah, etc. Will just become the West within time. Which is also the same as disappear, because you will not own a culture anymore. You will have nothing. Yeah, this is very terrible. And apocalyptic. Oh my god, apocalyptic maybe, but that is the truth. It's undeniable. I don't see any other. There might be some possible solutions, like for the. Oh no. I would say like China. China, the robot that China is doing that can reproduce, but there is other things besides reproducing, like who will take care of the children? The government? So the government will mass produce labor force in robots, and take care and pay for all the growth. Like, it's unethical. It's I see a lot of problems with this. It's not a solution. It's not it's just so fucking weird. Why I'm discussing this is making no sense
They
at all.
want to force Japanese culture to bend and change itself, which, I want to be honest, I've talked about this in the past with many different videos, but it feels incredibly racist for people to come into a community or a culture and try to change it
because
instead of
it is.
integrating into it, and that's what's been going on for a while.
Exactly.
I mean, with the whole Visa and MasterCard stuff and payment processors, we've definitely seen this, and you have other fans and communities doing the exact same thing in a different way. I am appreciating the vocal voice now that is fighting back against this. So, like I said, there is legitimately some good news here, and that Japan is had enough. We have seen a lot of politicians, like Yamada Taro, for instance, actively speaking out.
It's always good to see people standing against this, but generally saying, I still keep seeing them pushing what they want forwards, and I'm not seeing that we are being able somehow to stop them at all. But if there is one place that brings us some kind of hope, that is still Japan. There is still Japan. I hope we can make Japan an example that it's possible to to resist and avoid this culture shift. And, we have to make Japan an example of that, like that it's possible to keep your culture to yourself. Even though we will still have the latter problem that is like dealing with the few number of people to work on the companies and etc. The labor force. But yeah, this for another time. Like, after all, they are having this problem for quite a long time already. But this is a solution that we have to find. We have to enforce right now. Like, because also the culture, once you allow a lot of immigrants, also people change them, start changing their minds to be more like progressive inside the country. And I'm not saying only the immigrants, but their own population. It starts to be more acceptable. It starts to be more passive. It's over. It's already over. There is no going back. And we need to prove that there is some way to resist to this. We need to help save Japan, not just because we care about Japan, but a lot of our hobbies come from there, So it's not only about defending Japan by defending Japan, but to defend ourselves.
Out and talking about this, and we've seen famous authors that has now become politicians as well in Japan speaking out about this, that they don't want, their creative freedom censored, they don't want, freedom of expression censored, they're anti-censorship, they want to allow authors and artists and stuff to draw or write what they want. And once again, like I said, it's just overall great news. But back into the Elon Musk stuff that I want to talk about here. So the reason why this is very important, and which is why it sparked this video, is because Elon Musk is a big figure. You can love him or hate him, it doesn't matter. I think we can all collectively agree, if you're someone that likes anime, you like manga, you like light novels, games, whatever, you can collectively agree when he is talking about the situation, he is bringing it to a level that is much higher than it normally would be talked about from a random run-of-the-mill content creator such as myself. He is a big voice around the world, and, him speaking out and on the side of anime and manga fans is not what...
I have to be honest that the guy says sometimes here and there a lot of stupid stuff, but yeah, I if I had to choose, I would still and like and dislike him. I still like him,
what was on my bingo card, honestly, for 2025, but I will
But
take
I have
any help I
too
can
much
get.
care
I will
with
take any
trusting,
help
like,
to,
people like
have
him.
some good news for once, because obviously, with what's been going on in the last, month to, honestly, years within Japan, I'm glad to see, someone so big and with so much money willing to fight for the stuff I love. I appreciate that. I think, if there is one takeaway from this, it's very clear that Elon Musk is a big anime and manga fan. We've known that kind of for a while. I mean, we know he's rep Death Note, we know he's rep Full Metal Alchemist, there's a lot of stuff that hints at that. I mean, if you look at his AI, like his Grok AI, and how he introduced Annie, which is this female anime character that looks very Death Note inspired, it's very clear he's a big mega fan of anime. I don't know how deep he is in anime, for instance, if he watches like a bunch of new stuff or not, but he clearly likes anime. He's been around enjoying it for a good while, and so it's clear that he wouldn't want something that he probably enjoys tampered with, changed to fit modern global standards, because we've seen how that has been done with, like, for instance, the gaming industry or Hollywood. It just destroys things, and we've already had examples of this happening within the anime and manga industry as of late. And one reason for this is localizers. There's been a lot of localizers, which I'll show a picture on screen here for you can see, but there's a lot of localizers that openly, like, celebrate and take pride in changing the meaning of manga or anime to fit their narrative or fit their propaganda. And I've discussed this already in the past. A lot of people get upset about this, and it makes sense why people are upset about
we
this,
talked
because
about
it's
that
not right to
a
change
lot.
someone's work for your own narrative. I mean, it happened with Maid Dragon, for instance, with the English dub, which is completely unacceptable. And, thanks to Asmongold video he made like 2 years ago, it allowed that to reach into more of a widespread mainstream audience. People became more aware of that situation, and I feel like there was kind of a spark that led to this conversation to eventually reach the level that we're at right now within the anime and manga industry, and now Japanese citizens are now finding out about this, because I want to be honest with you, there is a lot of animators, a lot of studios, a lot of people within Japan that are completely unaware that their work is being tampered with, that their work is being changed or localized in the meanings of words fit a political agenda. It's all being changed. They're completely unaware of it. I have actively talked with animators and people that were completely unaware of this, and then they found out and they're like, wait, what? And they're upset about it. And
this is a surprise. I didn't know
how
this.
some of these authors feel, like that write manga and then they find
so
out
they
that
have
their
no
works have been
idea
censored to some
of
degree
what's
or
going on.
changed. It's like, that's kind of disrespectful. That's very, very disrespectful. And then trying to act like they didn't censor, that's another layer of disrespect, because they try to brush it off or hide it and act like they're doing a proper translation when in reality they're not. At least be upfront about it if you're trying to censor work, but obviously they don't want to do that. So anyways, to get to the meat of the conversation, Japan's fighting back. They have been fighting back. They're kind of ahead of the game before anything else when it comes to the whole payment processors and censorship and all that for a while now, because they've been under attack since, oh man, years. Like, I think like the first attack against one of their sites was like in 2019, 2020, somewhere around in there, okay? Don't quote me on this one, but it's been a while. So Japan has become more aware of the situation as the years went on by, and so they are definitely ahead of everyone else in what's going on, and I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to be bringing some positive content to everybody for once, instead of all the doom and gloom and everybody's getting censored, which people still are getting censored. I might have to make a video on that tomorrow, because there's been a big incident, so to speak, with PayPal. A lot of artists got hit pretty bad, and I will talk about that one probably tomorrow. Anyways, thank you so much. You all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. That notification you heard was from my Xbox off in the distance. Don't freak out about that. It wasn't you guys. But be safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. Chibi out.
Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, that support my work here on YouTube, and especially my Three-Tailed Fox tier members, Heath Rowell, Wallen Wolf, Fenny Sylvy, and Zalost, for the incredible support to my work. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to all of you who supported me through Ko-Fi or Tron. Thank you very, very much. You can support this channel live and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon, link is in the description below. Yeah, that's it. It's like I said earlier, like, I think we are just remembered when there is some interest behind, but it's not actually related to this content, but it's something I want you guys to always think about, like, because I don't see people talking about this that much. Of course, it's not. Of course, again, it's not related to. I'm sorry, I'm losing the point here. I think my brain is still sleeping because it's early morning here. So yeah, I think I forgot my brain on the bed, but yeah. That's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check the links below. Patreon, Discord, Ko-Fi, Drone. Consider to support me so I can get the fuck out of here. And I will see you all guys in the next one. Bye.